Hi, I'm Fallon Bowman from Amphibious Assault, and this is episode 52.
Welcome and thank you for joining us. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm great, doing well. I'm in the future. You guys are in the past.
What do you mean?
By an hour, because I it's funny because I've spoken to people obviously in other time zones before, but for whatever reason I'm like looking at the clock like, wait a second, are they behind? Are they forward? And it's not a difficult concept, but it just kept like freaking me out. I'm like, all right,
you're not
they're
the
in
first.
the past, I'm in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell us, do we need to buy more Bitcoin?
I was told by my colleague Elon Musk that I should. So you should too.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
Not really colleagues, but you get
Right. You were really in the future there because you actually had us in your schedule for March.
Oh yes, sure did.
What?
That's the second time I've done this month because I have it set up by week, and sometimes on Google Calendar it's not. Well, I mean it's pretty blatant because if you look at it, it does say the date, like the month and the date on the top. So I was like, okay, yeah, the 10th didn't even register. Didn't even register. And I look, and when you messaged me, I'm like,
That's, you know what,
well,
I gotta bug you a little bit too because I jumped on your Twitch feed a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, "Which day is that again?" And I was like, "Oh well, you know, that's like next
you
Wednesday."
said the 10th.
I didn't say February, did I?
You didn't. That's why I was like, okay, good. We're good. We're golden, bud. Nice.
All right, I'll take some blame on that one.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
Well, it could have been really, really bad, but you saved the day with the message. So
Right. And then that's funny too, because I told her that I would follow up on the 8th, which I forgot to. So it was yesterday. I was
on
kind
the
of
9th. Yeah.
panicking.
I was like,
"Do I open that day?"
That's
Sure.
funny.
Good thing we're organized.
Yeah. We don't
Yeah,
know.
and it's funny because before I didn't really use any like I've always been kind of averse to using online scheduling stuff. I don't know why and I think I'm really the only one that still uses like a paper and pen or paper and pencil even planner.
Right.
So I write everything.
I don't think you're the only one. I've got, you should see my desk in my office. There's papers everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just put it in I've always got the computer there. I should just put it in there, sticky notes and papers all over. Same thing written on 4 or 5 different papers and never mind envelopes, right? Like when you get like a bill then on the back of the bill. Yeah, I got those.
Yeah. Hey, we are two of the same, my friend. I have like one of these.
Yeah.
That I use in university. I still use it. It's from Queens.
That's so deadly.
And for me, there's that little stack of papers that's on my desk.
Uh-huh.
That's frustrating to
look at.
I gotta get rid of
so
that.
you're the type that on your desk you can't have
clutter.
Even just that one piece is a little too much.
Well, right now I cleaned up this morning, but it's kind of messy in my eyes still. I'd rather have an empty desk, just a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse.
Yeah.
That'd be
Mark,
great.
He's
very
definitely
minimalist.
he's more techie than I am too. So he's always like, well, just put it on your tablet or put it in here. And I'm just like, no, I'll just write it right here. Just give me a pen.
Write it down.
Yeah.
And then he leaves here, and then the notes.
And then I got a stack of papers right here with my notes till next week.
Yeah.
I have notes from I don't even know, like the early 90s, written on things. And I mean, I was a kid at the time, so it's not that legible, but it's writing a letter to freaking, I don't know, the guys in New Kids on the Block. I still have those. I still have them. Yeah.
New Kids on the Block.
That NKOTB?
That's
NKOTB, bud.
Remember Dirty Dog when they like came back and they changed it to NKOTB? Do you remember that track?
Was this after the whole I set the hotel on fire thing?
It might have been
So they were trying really hard to be like,
to like rebrand or something.
we're really wholesome. We swear.
Oh man.
Wait, I got to show you something. What? Just keep talking.
Oh, he's probably got the freaking record. How do you? So, oh, here we come. What do you got there?
Stop. Oh, the BB. You know what's funny? I know all of the words to their songs, but have never bought any of their records.
Is that
Good sign of a good
oh, the Backstreet Boys. Oh, that's what you meant, baby. I thought you were like baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby.
That is very cool. How long? So, did you get that when it came out, or was that something
No, that came in last week. This is inventory.
Nice.
Mark's got records coming in on a daily over here.
Well, not quite daily, but often enough. Yep.
Fabulous.
I wanted to ask you about your Twitch feed.
Sure.
I'm really intrigued and curious about that. What I've noticed on Twitch is like pretty well, I don't know. A lot of people are gaming on there.
Yes.
Like I haven't seen much music really. Like I know there's music playing in the background of some of the people that I've plugged into, but is that a thing where like musicians are playing music on there? Is it mainly gaming?
Mainly gaming at this point, but it amazes me the amount of variety that Twitch has now. I started watching Twitch at the end of 2018, I believe, or maybe the summer of 2018. And I had no idea that it existed, first of all. And then when I started checking it out, it was mostly gaming. But now I feel like it has been embraced a lot by DJs. So doing like live sets and stuff. I mean, it also straddles a very interesting line in that sense, because they're playing and mixing people's music. So Twitch has kind of come up head to head against, your big record labels and stuff like that. They're like, you can't play your music. How is this monetized? And it's like it's a whole thing. But but actual bands playing their own music, I've seen some amazing people that are amazing ingenuity, really, just setting up in their band space and turning it into a live show. But I can't remember one of the groups that they play covers, but they also do their own music, and it's kind of like a funk space punk band, kind of like B-52s, but like on drugs. It's fabulous. They were so good. I was like, shit. I was like in the middle of quarantine watching this amazing band. They had full lights and everything. They had projectors. It was fabulous. So yeah, I feel it definitely exists. I've seen cooking shows, ASMR,
a cooking show for real.
Cooking show, yeah. There's an Italian guy, lives in Sweden, but he's cooking like Italian food and has multi-camera setup, the whole amazing quality. And good. I mean, he makes the food look really good. And also art. So people that are interested in, I guess, in seeing the artistic process, if somebody's painting or even doing 3D digital art, I've seen people do that kind of thing. And then also utilized by artists who are maybe creating a movie for their patrons, or for, I don't know, just interested people that are interested in animation, for example. They go through how they do it.
Holy shit, there's so much I have not tapped into on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like I'm relatively new to it. I don't have a page or anything. There's just I think you and Josh Potter, a comedian, I think are the only people that I'm like subscribed to or whatever on Twitch. So yeah, interesting. Do you know anything about Twitch?
I think it's kind of the same as YouTube. You're never finished watching it.
There's could very well be, right?
Yeah.
I'm more curious on how, like, have you made any money through Twitch at all?
You do. You have to get to a certain level. So there's two tiers. There's like, you can be an affiliate if you have a certain amount of concurrent viewers. And then over that amount, I think the threshold is 75 concurrent viewers. And then you can be what's called a Twitch partner. So those people make a substantially more on ad revenue. So when ads run during your stream, before your stream, you can also set it when those things, like when it happens.
Okay.
You know, and then people subscribe to get rid of those ads. So yeah, it's not a lot at all, but I mean, it's still cool that I get to play video games that I would have been playing anyways, and get to hang out with a really cool community of like-minded people.
Yeah. I definitely was impressed with how you had it set up too, because you could still see you in the bottom corner, and then the full game, right? As well as I don't know, it's cool.
It's
how it goes.
Again, I'm a race fan, and a lot of the Formula One drivers that I follow have a Twitch feed, and they just do their virtual racing, and
right.
They, you know, the whole professional racer vibe that used to be, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, where they're pretty distant, and if you're a fan, you can only get certain parts of their lives. But now they're on Twitch. They're almost, well, you can't touch them obviously because
but it is interactive.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so what intrigues me as well about Twitch.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so personal.
Yeah, for sure. Like I could, like how we were talking about it being on the 10th, and you were like, "Oh, Joel from Funky Moose is here." I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, right on. Thanks for the show. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. Also, I've seen. You guys know the Deftones. Deftones also has their own official website, or official channel rather. And Frank will like spin. He did one, or he's done a couple. I don't know. He hasn't done it in a while, but like a DJ set, and people like Deftones fans went wild for that. They were like, "Oh my god, hi!" And then and Sergio does it too. He'll talk in the chat. Like it's you like you're saying. It's like you're almost there. You're almost in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's
because I remember back in the 90s, we late 90s, we went to a Formula One race, and we there was a crash far away, and one of our friends, he was like, I gotta go shake his hand because he looks all right. So he sprinted that way and he shook his hand, and that was probably the closest you'll ever get to a Formula One driver unless you have a lot of money. But now you can go on Twitch and chat with them.
Yeah, you're in their freaking living room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, literally in some cases.
Yeah.
It's like all dingy, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, though. I think it's freaking rad. I like it.
It's great. I mean, and the reach that you get in terms of exposing yourself to younger audiences, so people that would never have known my music or whatever, or me just as a person. You know, some of the people that are in my chat, even though my chat is actually capped at 18 plus, just because I swear a lot. So I just didn't, it's not a family friendly place. Sometimes they're like, "Hi, I know I'm only, this young or whatever." Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, maybe it's like my mommy thing coming through, or I'm just like, shouldn't you be at school or whatever? But yeah, and the reach is great. And sometimes I've seen some streamers, and I shit you not, it is just incredible the amount of reach they get. Like in terms of my piddly 14 concurrent viewers, I don't mean that in a
no disrespect to the viewers.
No disrespect, right? And I love every bit of those 14 people, but there are some channels that are getting 50, 70, 100,000, even more concurrent viewers. Like I think the record is 70, which is amazing reach. That's just live viewers, and then their VOD will get even more, and it's crazy.
So that just means that those regular, like the concurrent, like those are people that are plugging in regularly when you're going live, right? That's like the regulars. That's what that means, right?
No, concurrent when they watch together. So
they're all watching.
How many viewers are at the same time? Yeah.
So, but what makes it great is that you can use Twitch on your phone. So anybody can pull it out at any time and be like, "Oh, Funky Moose is streaming. Cool, right on." And then they'll just sit there and tune into your podcast live.
Yeah. So we actually tried a couple live. Was it the last 2 in a row, or did we have a gap in between? We've done 2 live episodes so far. Okay. The one that aired on Monday we recorded it live on Friday night, but
Okay,
then we edit it, and then like it's still gonna go up on the Monday. You know what I mean?
sure, sure.
And I think we had 60 people viewing
Yeah, something like that.
during.
Yeah.
There's only like 10 to 20 people in the chat,
Yeah.
but there's 60 people watching as we're recording it, right?
Well, technically everyone's in the chat, but they're just not engaging.
Not engaging.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a lot of lurkers. I'm a lurker. I don't usually chat.
Me too.
I have to. I'm the opposite. I
Just
I
like,
need.
"Hey, what's
gotta
up?"
be yeah, you bet. Like
No,
I need to
me,
be seen.
If I'm the lurker
Hilarious.
unless something is really, rubbing me the wrong way, then I have to put in my 2 cents.
Yeah, like, listen, sir, we don't
Yeah.
like the words you're saying. or
Yeah, this
whatever.
dud over here, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Be like, I've got kids that are at school. Well, what are you doing, Frick? No.
Yeah,
The kids could be watching this.
yeah, that's true. Somebody asked me recently, they're like, hope your new record isn't gonna have a lot of swearing on it. It's like, do you even fucking know me? Like, really?
But okay, so speaking of your music, where do you want to start? Do you
Oh,
want to start
God.
with your old band or
Whatever you want. Well, I mean, I guess people would know me from there if they know me at all. I was in a band starting in 1996 with the tender age of too young, tender age of too young. Heavily into metal and the new metal scene at the time, and we started a band that did very, very well, I guess, and then started in 98, I guess, technically. And yeah, that was Kitty. So I was with them until 2001, where I left and went on to other things, which includes my current projects, which I started in 2002, technically. And it's called Amphibious Assault, and very much influenced by my budding love of synthesis and industrial music from the 1990s, 80s, and 90s. Really, I think spawned by the first time I heard KMFDM, I was like, this is my calling right here. This is it. Or pretty much anything Wax Trax came out with, I was like, yes, give me it all. Like they had like a catalog or whatever, and I'm like, yes.
yeah.
So yeah, that started with that, and I put out my first record in 2003 called District 6. I came out with another record in 2003, and then the second one was On Better Days and Sin Eating in 2006, and then my upcoming release, which comes out on Friday, it's called Simulacrima, and it's a CD. There's songs on it.
It is very good. I'm gonna throw in there. I listened to it this morning, actually.
So you say it comes out on Friday, which means it came out last Friday.
So this weekend,
because this is going out.
That's
on
right.
Monday.
So it's out right
I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because
Uh-huh.
we're in the. Are we?
We're in
does that mean we're in the future? Or the
Because
past?
Future.
The future.
I'm in the future, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Like Mark and I, we were kind of talking about it before you came on. Like we were like, oh, well, which one did you like the most and stuff like that. And I was trying to explain to Mark about the track Lifeline.
Yep.
On the album.
Here comes the bus.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So I was trying to, it gave me like a modern Studio 54 vibe. It really did. Right? Like that's where my head went. And I was like, okay, like I get it. I feel it. But modernized. Right. And I'm trying to explain that to Mark. He doesn't even know what Studio 54 is. And I'm just like, what? Yeah. I know. Right. That's how I felt too. I was like, how do you not know what I'm talking about?
I'm European. That's my excuse.
Okay. Well, but even I don't even know if Europe has like an equivalent to that.
He's been here for a long time though. So he should know.
What do you mean?
Well, how many years have you been in Canada?
12. 12? That long? Jeez.
Wait, who am I?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think there is an equivalent in Europe that institution.
That magnitude of.
There's a very, very good documentary on Netflix about Studio 54. I highly recommend you watch it. There's no secret. I am a huge disco fan. Huge. So I have very eclectic musical tastes. I was trying to explain it to somebody in my Discord. That when I was growing up, my father was very much into all kinds of music, and because I couldn't really get to the kernel of where my love of metal came from, because I'm like, I don't understand how out of all of my family members, I was the only one that was like, yeah, metal. Like, where does that come from, and how, you know?
Right.
But then in the same breath, I can have. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Kitty.
He's
What's your cat's name? Sorry to change topic here a little bit,
no,
but
it's all good. He's going to make himself known whether we want it or not. His name is Sarge. I received him in 2001. So he's a very elderly gentleman, very yelly elderly gentleman. It's too early for your food, sir. You're going to have to wait. No, too early. Anyway, so I couldn't quite figure out like where that was coming from, and then I was like reflecting back on all of the kinds of things I would hear in my house. So, for example, my father was like a huge into like new age music, like loves new age music. So your Enyas, or your even though technically I don't know if Enigma is considered new age, but
right.
Stuff like that, or like this Swiss harpist that I would hear constantly as a kid. His name is Andreas Wallenweider, and it's this spacey, weird 70s like, but it's freaking awesome. It's so amazing. But then disco was also a big thing in my house, and like R&B and hip hop from my sisters during the like late 80s and 90s. So I'm all over the place, and
Right.
I still haven't figured out, like, aside from my dad liking really like classic rock, like Black Sabbath, or I guess if you want to call them classic rock, but anyway, or Jethro Tull was a huge one, Deep Purple was a huge one. So I'm like, maybe it came from that. I don't know, but
Right.
anyway, long story short, is my influences are all over the place. So I think this project is a distillation of that. So I'm not surprised you say Studio 54
on
for
the
that,
studio.
because it's like,
Oh man,
yeah.
and but that's just that one track. Like there's even, so if I'm Three Storms,
Yep.
kind of the beginning of it, I was starting to get like, remember Prodigy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got a vibe off of that. So Lifeline made me think of Studio 54. Three Storms, I was thinking Prodigy, and I really enjoyed. There's three other tracks that I really liked. The Gridlocked Heart,
Cool.
Truth Bomb, and the title track. How do you say that?
Simulacruma.
Yeah. So those out of all of them, like those were my top picks for sure, and I definitely enjoyed it. Like it was
Awesome.
I had it. I could tell that you're a gamer. I don't know how to explain it, right? But both of us, I think we kind of picked up on that through the music too.
For me, I had it playing while I was working, so I wasn't paying attention to the names. But the first few songs, I was like, okay, it's interesting, and then all of a sudden, it kind of sparked my
like
attention.
Something clicked.
Yeah, it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is like the '90s Euro dance kind of vibe that I grew up on. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it kind of evolved into, the music that would play under a video game. I was like,
yeah. So
I'm digging it.
Like,
cool.
Do you think you could get one of these songs in a game?
That's on my list of trying to listen, not now. It's on my list of trying to contact like music supervisors. Right. I live in the city that Ubisoft is here, or Ubisoft, whatever you want to call it. They're here. Yeah. I have like ways to contact the music people there, and trying to get it in, because somebody told me, they're like, that I sent their record to listen to. They're like, man, it's too bad, that you couldn't have gotten it into Cyberpunk, because it fits in.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, oh my God.
So I don't play. I don't have a PS5 and I don't play Cyberpunk, but I've watched the clips, and now that you say that, yeah, that would go excellent in there.
So I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
right.
Cute.
But there'll be something, like
Shucks.
there'll definitely be something.
Yeah. So certainly that's on my radar. Not so much, I think, with my older stuff, but this record in particular, I think would work well for somebody that's looking either just for soundscape in some areas, or if they're
Yeah.
looking for just like a phrase here and there. That was very much on my mind when writing this, for sure.
Oh, that's pretty deadly.
Cool.
Sweet.
Or like in a GTA kind of GTA
Yeah, so
kind
like
of
if your car is
where someone steals a car and all of a sudden the radio turns on and her song plays.
Yeah.
Fuck, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Right? That would be
hell,
amazing.
hell yeah. We're gonna try and see if we can help there somehow. I don't know how we're gonna help, but I'm sure gonna try.
Yeah,
Joel
is the kind of guy that, oh yeah, we'll do this, and then I don't know how to
without
do this.
any idea where to begin or how to do it, but I'll help.
love it.
I'll give it an honest effort.
That's kind of the way I approach life as well. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. And I think that was one thing that I from my other peers who aren't necessarily like that, I'm like, come on, let's do it. Come on, what's the worst that can happen? Either it fails or it fails, or we say we tried. It's a,
Joel's looking at me like, see, there's another person that does this.
I keep telling Mark, you got to shoot for the stars and land on the moon, right? That's how you do it. And like you said, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. All right, try again. Do something different.
Yeah. And it's something that I don't think I've always adhered to, though, because you're always like, if it's somebody, contacting somebody to listen to my music, or I'm also an actor too, so even contacting casting people or things like that, I'm like, am I overstepping bounds here? Is this going to look good on me if I do this? And then really it just comes down to, like you said, what's the worst that can happen? It's a no now, but it may not be down the road. Or maybe it's a no or not. Yeah, not right. Now's not a good time.
Yeah, a no. That's how I think of it too. A no doesn't mean no. It just means not right now.
Exactly.
The timing's not right.
The timing's not right. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
If they're, I don't know. And if they're mean, they'll just be like,
agree.
They're terrible. Why? But it's never happened.
If you're into business books, check out "Screw It, Let's Do It" by Richard Branson.
Yes, great man.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
Virgin.
He's at Virgin.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah. He what was it? He tried to go around the world in a hot air balloon. That was one of those things. Oh, sounds fun. Let's do it. And
that's very much like an entrepreneurship mindset, right? Your Elon Musk's and your people, they just ask the questions that nobody wants to ask, or they approach the problems that nobody wants to approach. Or sorry, not nobody wants to, but maybe no one dares to.
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk with his Starlink internet. I'm just gonna.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot a bunch of satellites up in the air, and then everybody can have internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's gonna cost money. Well, yeah, I have money. So.
Yeah, exactly right. Or his tunnels under, is it L.A. that he's got
Vegas.
those Vegas?
Yeah.
Like the tunnels under Vegas that he's like, yeah, we're just gonna do like an underground subway here.
Yeah, and we're gonna run Tesla vehicles as the shuttles.
And like nobody can stop him.
That's like because now he's the richest man in the world. So right? I mean,
he's so boss.
Yeah,
he's the new Howard Hughes, isn't he?
Right.
And he's like, I kind of want to go to Mars, so I need to get a rocket up there. Well, just shoot a few and see how they land, and if they crash, well, build another one.
And he's still doing it. Have you watched any of those videos?
Oh, the like watching the launches and stuff.
Like where he's trying to get them to land back, like come back to Earth and land intact. I think he's done a few of them.
A few, and some failed.
They have,
Horribly.
None of them have landed intact.
One of them
yet, but-
exploded.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
His
cool though
last
because
one.
they're falling like this, right? Like vertically, or no, this is horizontally.
Horizontally.
And
it's
then
supposed to
you'll
land
see like the
vertically.
jets go on, and then they turn right side up, and then they're coming down, but they're just still coming down too heavy, and they explode. But it looks weird. It kind of looks fake, but it's not fake.
Well, it's kind of that's what the test is all about, like real world test. Okay, if it lands like this, how do I get it up straight?
Yeah.
And if it goes up straight,
Yeah, and how much thrust do we need to make
Yeah.
it land softly?
and
smooth?
sometimes
Yeah,
you fail.
exactly.
And I imagine he has some of the most brilliant minds in the world working for him,
Yeah.
making this stuff happen, which is crazy when you think about it, because I wasn't sure exactly what the intersection between like NASA and him and like SpaceX as a private company, how does that work? Like, do they,
Right. Like, are they together or butting heads, or yeah?
Yeah, like, is there a little
I-
bit of competition there?
No, I think they're working together.
They are working together.
On
Well, because
on
the last
something.
when they shot the two guys up into I don't know where, but somewhere.
Yeah.
In space, they seem to be working together on that. So
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. Really.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Me too. It's
Yeah.
definitely.
Would you go to Mars if you had the money?
Yeah.
Would you go to Mars if
Yep.
you had the money?
I
Hell
would.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would too. Like, I think we're like nearing the end of days on Earth.
We
I-
need entertainers in space, right?
Yeah.
For
Sure.
definitely, without a doubt.
The bard in the tavern.
There you go. Perfect.
You need something.
Man, what would that look like if you're the first, I don't know, 100 people on Mars? Would you start like the olden days and start your taverns and stuff like that?
Okay,
or-
but here's the question: do you not think that there's never ever been anybody on Mars?
Not from Earth.
You don't think so?
No.
Do you not think that we are from Mars?
Well, women are from Venus.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I walked right into that one.
Should we talk about music?
Yeah.
Because
Let's bring it back.
I don't have a feeling this is going anywhere.
No, it's just an aimless conversation,
Yeah.
which is fine too. But so if you're, can we talk about Kitty just briefly, loosely?
Go for it.
So
yeah, go. Sorry.
right. You guys played at Ozfest, is that right?
Correct.
I'm intrigued on that. And could you tell me a little bit about that? How that was for you at that time in your life? Yeah.
The more I look back on it, of course, I always look back on it very fondly, because it was basically like a traveling circus of people from all over the world, from all different ages, because there was another band that was kind of close to us in age, so that was kind of nice, to not be the youngest people there. So it was wild inside sometimes, just wild, the places that it took us, because it took us all over the US, of course, and it just was incomparable in terms of experience. Like, I will never ever in my life, I think, experience something like that again. I don't even know if they have traveling festivals anymore, do they?
Not last year.
Or in general, I can't even think of one. They're usually one-offs, right? But like a traveling thing like that doesn't really exist. So I'll never experience something so unique and so
Wait, when you say traveling, explain that to me, because is it the festival that moves around, or?
Yeah, like a circus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had a few one-offs in Europe. I remember because people in Europe were annoyed that they didn't have this circus experience, to also take part in. But at any rate, it was life-changing in a lot of ways, because I met a lot of people that I never thought I would ever have encountered. So Pantera being one of them. I was like, oh my God, hello, there's Pantera.
Yeah.
And they were just the nicest group of dudes, even though you would think, listening to their music or seeing them, you're like, you're scary. But very, very like lovely guys. And yeah, so it was amazing. Again, once in a lifetime.
Right. How did that start? Like, how did you guys end up on Ozfest?
I mean, it's just a matter of our agent getting us onto
Getting
the
the gig,
tour.
right?
Yeah. So, once you get the right agent, like, I mean,
Yeah.
and we were building up in popularity up until that point as well. We had just our first major tour was with Slipknot. And Slipknot was on their like meteoric rise, the start of their meteoric rise at that
Right.
time. So we were playing relatively small clubs, and we were playing with Willhaven as well. They're also like kind of alt metal from Sacramento, those guys. And just, we were coming off of that tour, and then we went on with a tour with Seven Dust. So we were kind of hot at that time. So it was like a no-brainer, really. And I believe, I can't confirm this, but I feel like Sharon definitely had part of that as well. She was like, yeah, girls who rock, fuck, bring them on, man.
I saw on the band's Instagram page this morning that there was an interview with Sharon saying something about girls of this age should have a space on this festival, because right now a lot of girls their age only listen to pop music, and there is no real, I forget how she worded it.
Whose
But
Instagram page?
Kitty.
On
Kitty's, yeah. But I forget how she worded it, but it was like, there is no other band that these girls can relate to. So we want Kitty here so that they can see there is other music than these bubblegum pop.
Totally.
songs.
I mean, think about the time when we were coming up, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, we had Christina Aguilera, we had Britney Spears that was coming out, and like all these really big
Spice Girls.
and Spice Girls, all these big female pop groups were coming out. And so we were getting interviews with people that were just not getting it at all. They would be like, so you guys are like the Spice Girls but metal, right? It's like,
have you listened to us?
Have you listened to our music? I mean, we got away with it a couple of times, like going over the border. Going over the border. We how you if you've ever traveled in like a bus or something going over into the US, everybody has to get off the bus. So we all got off the bus, and our manager, just as a joke, he's just like, and the officer's like, what is this? What band is this? What's going on here? It's like, oh, female Hanson. Huh? Because Hanson was really big at that time, and the guy's like, oh, nice, I like that MMMBop song. It's like completely, and then once you soften these the customs officers, then they're like, yeah, go on through, you guys are fine. Hello. And anyway, so people just didn't get it at the time. They didn't know what to make of us. So that's not appropriate, sir. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to wait like the rest of the plebs, okay?
Are you still like because you're not in Kitty anymore, do you still like, is there still like an association there?
Is Kitty still around? Like,
yeah, they're still I don't know if they're like actively still around in terms of like making records and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that primarily the association is with Kitty, which is fine. I'm never going to be able to escape that.
Right.
It's part of my history. I can't say try and distance myself from it or whatever. It's not. You can't rewrite history. So it's is what it is. It's what's fascinating to me, I think, now is there's a bit of a resurgence, I think, especially I went on to TikTok. TikTok's like a whole, like the frontier for me. I don't understand it at all, but I'm like fascinated by it. So there are kids who are 13, 14, 15 who are discovering Kitty for the first time and finding me on there because they're like, oh my God, it's you. And I'm like, how did you even hear? But I haven't even been in the band in 20, I don't even know, years. So it's fascinating to me that it's still a thing for some people.
Right. Yeah, TikTok, I'm very confused by it too.
Yeah.
One of our friends from Alberta, Miss Justine Giles, funny story is she recently started TikTok.
Okay.
And I talk with her quite frequently, and we were laughing just the other day how a lot of her views on her posts on TikTok is like, she'll have anywhere from 10 to 100, maybe, right? And she posted one about a week ago, and it's rounding up on 40,000 views. And she's like, I just don't understand it. Yeah. So we're trying to figure out like the algorithm that was involved. Did you just get scratched?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, geez. Sarge is jealous.
Yeah, he's mad. Oh, I'm sorry, babes. You're gonna have to wait.
He can be in the shot if he wants. Like, we don't mind.
Can you edit it out? You can edit it out, right? I just need to like give him food so he'll leave me alone.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. We don't need to edit though.
Listen, you.
Here comes the animal cruelty. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
See a cat flying across the screen.
This happens very, very frequently because he gets jealous.
Oh, he's probably just hungry.
And hungry, but he gets jealous. He doesn't like it when I talk to other people. Terrible husband.
Look at the blob behind you.
Leave me alone now. Okay.
That's how my brain feels. Did you see that TikTok that Justine posted on TikTok?
No, well, what you showed me. But.
Right. Well, that's it. Like what I showed you is that post.
Well,
that
was
did.
Just I saw part of it, I guess.
It's still,
anyway.
Yeah. So going back to, you can hear me, right? Going back to Justine, like it's crazy because it's like every day this thing has like another 1,000 views or whatever, and we've been trying to break it down and figure out like how is that algorithm, right? Because there's so many different factors that go into it. But it is, I'll have to send it to you. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to, I don't know. It's not my talk, right? It's not for me to talk about or anything, but it's just crazy how on fire it is compared to her other posts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's something that I think a lot of people want to find out how it works.
No doubt, right? Like who doesn't want to figure that out?
What? Especially if you're a musician. I know that I have Simulacruma will be available on TikTok, which is one of the reasons why I joined it, because I felt like if I could get that sweet spot between creating something that people will see on their For You page, which is just like your feed, but with my music in the background. If you've got someone who has millions and millions and millions of followers, like, I don't know, like Charli D'Amelio is the biggest TikTok creator. And she uses one of your songs to like, I don't know, do a jig too, or whatever she does. That has a huge there's actually a correlation between those sorts of posts and streams on Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever.
Now I'm watching in my head, I watch people do a jig to your music. It's weird.
But how would how would TikTok pay out though? I think what's his name from One Bad Son? Kurt Dahl did an article on if TikTok pays out on musicians, and I think just in the subtitle thing it was like kind of, but I didn't read the article, so I'll have to look into that. But that is curious though, like if you had a song on TikTok that's trending with the posts, would you generate an income off of that as the artist? I wonder.
Not from TikTok specifically, but it's somebody looking up the song afterwards, like, wow, what is that song? And they'll find it on Spotify or wherever, and that's the link that's important. But it's a matter of getting people to leave the app to do that, which is more likely to be done by a certain demographic. So your teens are more likely to be like, yo, what is that? I was like that.
Okay,
when I saw things on like Much Music or whatever, I'm like, who? Well, at the time,
yeah, you wrote a letter. Yeah, you wrote a letter to Much.
But I don't know, like, no disrespect to teens out there, but man, I think they're so lazy because if you think so, I don't care if I disrespect them. Teens, you guys are lazy out there. You know that song that's like
hang on,
that oh no thing?
Were you lazy?
Yeah, of course I was.
So
I get it. It makes sense, right? But like, yeah, you know that one where it's like, oh no, 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 like that song. As I'm doing this, like some kind of.
I don't know it.
You don't know that one? Where it's like,
I'm tempted to look it up, but I'm not going to.
Oh, you'll have to just check my Instagram stories.
It's on there.
Okay. Yeah. So it was one of the songs that's trending on TikTok, right? And it's relatively popular, but the thing is that what's trending, it's not the original song. The original song is from I don't even remember the name. Remember that song Leader of the Pack?
Yep.
Wait. So
Leader
the original
of the Pack, that song?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So the original singer of this Oh No song is those people. I forget the name of the band, but
Shangri-Las.
And even Aerosmith did a remake of it. Yeah. So this is the original.
Love it.
Right? And Aerosmith did a remake of it.
Oh.
But
that's Aerosmith?
That's Aerosmith.
Okay.
But I think like 5 years ago, I don't know who like made it modern, updated it, made it more like a dancey
like a
poppy
trap
thing.
song.
Yeah, it's like I almost said like Camcom or freaking I don't know who it is. I'm terrible with names. Anyways, when you're looking, I was trying to find the original song, and all these kids, they're saying that it's Aerosmith, and it pisses me off. And I'm like, can you be that lazy? Yeah, I know, right? I'm the old guy shaking my fist, right? Those damn kids out there.
I actually
I get so angry.
So back in Holland, I used to do a radio show, and I had a segment in there where I played the current version of whatever song, and then I'd go, and this is the original. And then play the original. And then we got feedback like, what the fuck? That's not the original. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, we were doing that on Saturday night.
How many songs has that happened to you? Like, for example, the first time I ever heard Celine Dion sing the song Alone, till now, that song?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a Heart song. And I was like, oh, like my mind was blown. Or I Will Always Love You. That's also good. That's a Dolly Parton song.
Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Dolly Parton song. So how many times were you like, you hear a song, you're like, that's great, but it's a cover.
Yeah. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. But
yeah, we were doing that. We were at,
we got to see a live show this last Saturday, actually. First one since 2019 that I had been to. Yeah, it was pretty dope. There was only, how many people were in the crowd? Maybe 40, maybe.
Yeah.
Spaced out or?
Yeah. No. Max capacity would be more than double that.
It was at a pub, but like the stage, there was 4 members on the stage. They had like plexiglass separating them, and everybody had their masks on. Like, except for once you got to your table, you could take your mask off because there was like food and drink there, right? Obviously, but if you left the table, you had to mask up to move around again. And it was the it wasn't the Steadies, but two members.
Mo Marley.
It was Mo Marley, but 2 of the members for Mo Marley play with the Steadies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and then it was a celebration of Bob Marley's birthday on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So it was like a lot of like reggae music, some Sublime, some Bob Marley, that kind of thing, right? But yeah, every time there was like, what were some songs that we were trying to figure out?
Well, that Led Zeppelin song that starts, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it starts reggae.
Right. Well, and then I Shot the Sheriff, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because we were, Mark's an Eric Clapton fan, and I was saying how that was a Bob Marley and the Wailers song, but I think, that the one that ended up being Neil Diamond?
Yeah.
That was the original?
Yeah. That was weird because Joel was looking at me like, hey, who's this? I was like, Eric Clapton. He was like, no, this is Bob Marley. And then we looked it up because I wasn't 100% sure if it was Eric Clapton. And then we looked it up. Who was it?
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond.
Was it I Shot the Sheriff? Was that the one? anyways, we were like
yeah.
doing that whole thing. I think it was like 3 songs where we were like, what the hell? Like,
how many times removed has it been from the original? Like there's probably been so many people
Yeah.
that
oh,
you know.
I don't know.
there's one song that it seems everybody has done, like from the Beatles, Come Together.
Is that a
Like,
cover?
oh my God, that's like the Beatles did it, Godsmack did it, Aerosmith's done it, Michael Jackson's done it, didn't.
Oh,
Right, but it's a Beatles song.
But
It
I
is a
think
Beatles
it
song.
is
Yeah.
a Beatles song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I thought you meant that they covered that of
No,
somebody
no,
else.
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Like,
No,
I
no.
know. What? Like an Elvis Presley thing, right? Where
Yeah.
he did, what did he do? Was it,
Oh, that's.
oh my God,
he
what
did-
didn't he do?
Yeah, right. There
What
was
it?
some songs that he ripped off, wasn't there? Elvis.
Hound Dog
Yes.
was written. Not, sorry, Blue Suede Shoes is a Carl Perkins.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unreal. And then all his gospel songs, like who wrote those?
Listen.
Some priest.
And then he swivels his hips, and then everyone's
Right.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
It's a pop song.
Isn't that
yeah, it's
crazy?
a pop song now." God, there's been, but then again, I had this conversation with somebody recently about, covers of songs that are better than the original, or close to. And what is that? It's a Duran Duran song.
Hungry Like a Wolf.
No,
No.
Rio.
it's is it Duran Duran? Oh my God, I have to look it up. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed.
I'm gonna Google it.
Hold on. It's on the tip of my tongue. Sorry, Tears for Fears, Mad World.
Oh.
It was redone by a guy, like a singer-songwriter. And that version was used in CSI, the original. And it catapulted that song like you wouldn't believe. And then when people realized it was a Tears for Fears song and heard the original from the 80s, they're like, "Eee." Like, it's not good. No one liked it. But I just found that really interesting that it's, somebody else's take on a song, like, or oh my God. Like Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush, has been redone by like a ton of people.
I don't think I know that one.
Like, you've never heard it?
I don't know. How does that one go?
Shame on you.
Mark says, shame on me.
Finally could make a deal with God. I get up the song, please. You've heard it. Come on, it's an 80s jam.
I can't
Sing
put my
the
finger
chorus.
on it. On the spot. What's
That's
the
like
name of it?
equivalent of like,
Running Up the Hill.
Thunderstruck.
Right?
Um,
Yeah, I can't put my finger on that one. But I totally get it. I love covers as long as they're not done identical. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think
there's a difference, I guess, between just re-recording the song as
Right.
is, and
Yep.
then, an interpretation of.
Yeah, because there's a lot of remakes, I guess, or re-recordings that are good, but they're not the original. So they're not as good as the original. And like, yeah, the band has their take on it, but I mean, they didn't change anything with it.
I don't like the karaoke version.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right. And I'm not going to name any because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus or anything like that. But
Do it.
we all know that they're out there and we know who it is.
Who?
Yeah. If I knew he would cut it out, I would say it. But
Yeah, there's no guarantee there.
yeah.
Spill the tea.
But yeah, no, definitely.
Anyway,
anywho, your previous albums, I am not familiar with them. Do they sound similar to your new album, or
not really. No, it was really like District 6 was my first one in 2003 that I wrote in 2002 when I was just getting used to understanding synthesis and how synthesizers work, as well as, I hadn't gone into using modulation and all that stuff yet. But I feel like it was a good effort in the sense that I starting to understand things and put something together that sounded relatively good. So it's in some ways it's a little bit harder. The second one, I think, is even more hard, and I hadn't come into my own in terms of my voice yet. And so whereas this one, I feel it's like very vocally driven, as you heard. It has that's very highest thing in the mix, I think, which was purposeful. Whereas other times I was like, make everything else louder. I don't want anyone to hear me sing. So yeah, it's different. It's like it's the logical next step, let's say.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna look them up.
Cool.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I know.
What else you got, Mark? I'm curious to know, like, so where would be the best place to find like all of your what's the word I'm looking for? Yes.
Stuff.
So I have everything, or it will be as of Friday. It is. Sorry.
Yeah, as of last Friday.
Available as of last Friday. It will be on my. It is on my. Okay, let's try that again. It is on my Bandcamp where everything is available. Also is available on your Spotify's, all of the streaming platforms as well.
Sweet.
But Bandcamp is the best, really, because you can listen to, pick and choose. I have SoundCloud as well that does the same thing.
Right.
Ooh. Question about Bandcamp, because that's the only thing I don't. Well, I mean, there's probably more that I don't know about Bandcamp, but so when you hit play on a song,
Mhm.
does the artist get paid for that on the site itself?
I believe so. It's a very, very small amount.
Okay.
You can also set it to how many times people are able to listen to your record without buying it.
Okay.
You can set it to unlimited, and people can stream it as much as they want, or you can have it gated as well.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if artists would get paid for that, because why would people buy the CD if you can play unlimited on the Bandcamp page itself? Okay.
Right, but then that goes back to, like, you could just play the song unlimited anywhere. Like, you could find it, couldn't you?
Right, but usually those platforms pay the artist.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah. So you're saying, like, if Bandcamp isn't paying the artist, why would you just have an unlimited opportunity to listen to it?
Why would artists have the ability to even have it played?
Yeah, and I think Bandcamp, I think, is a little bit more collaborative with their artists, in the sense that they have these Bandcamp Fridays where people can go, and all of the money, all the revenue that person or band or whatever makes goes directly to the artist. They don't take a cut. I can't say the same for Spotify.
Right.
But,
that's why I canceled my Spotify and I'm now with Tidal.
Mark's an advocate for Tidal. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't even remember the last time I used Spotify.
Right.
I just don't. And it's just never, I was never really crazy about the fact that it would interject songs that I didn't ask for. And I'm like, why are you, I get it. They're thinking, okay, well, if you like so-and-so, you'll definitely like that. I'm like, if I wanted a radio, I'd listen to the radio. So just, I really want to listen to Aphex Twin right now, nothing else. So
Right.
You're being creepy. Stop it.
Nice.
But anyway, it's I don't know anything about Tidal, to be honest with you.
It's pretty much the same as Spotify, except they pay about twice as much as Spotify.
Oh.
So I figured that's a good
idea. Ain't too bad.
Right.
No. Well, I mean, it's still very little compared to physical sales, but
Yeah, sure. And I also like that aspect as well. With Bandcamp, it's all there. If people want to buy the CD, which is it's funny. Who was I talking about this with yesterday? Just a mentor that I have, and she was saying, like, oh, it's so interesting that you have people that still buy your CDs. Like, I haven't had CDs pressed in 10 years or more. Like I still get people every now and then. I'll get people asking me, and thank God I have them, right? Because some of them I've had printed since 2006. Like that was the last time I printed it, but I still have them, and still people ask, and still people are now asking for my previous releases on vinyl, which I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Or I had to
I know a person.
We might know somebody that can help you out with that.
That would be great. The other one was, hey, do you have it on cassette?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't help you with that.
But I don't, and I'm like, okay, I'm curious though. Are you asking because you want to actually play it on a cassette player, or is it a collector thing?
Like a novelty thing?
Yeah,
it's a collector thing. Like they want the album on a CD, a vinyl, and cassette.
Yeah,
a lot of collectors love it.
Yeah, you should have a bundle made,
right?
Of the record, cassette, and CD, plus a digital download.
But who does cassette manufacturing? Who does that?
There are a few in the States.
None in Canada.
Oh yeah. No, well, maybe Duplication does it, but I don't. Yeah, I think they do actually.
But like the full 9 yards, like with the insert, the whole. I want the insert. That's very important.
They did it in the
90s. Yeah, right. 10-mile long.
Yeah. All the lyrics are in here.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one of the reasons people buy records, because the artwork is bigger and you have something physical in your hand. And,
for sure. For sure.
I guess. And then you have the completists, they call them.
Oh yeah.
Where they need to have every copy of their favorite album, like every pressing that ever came out, and they want it on cassette, and they want the CDs, the different versions.
Don't forget the Japan import.
That's right. Yeah. I have a. Oh, it's not here. I have. Yeah.
You have Japan imports.
I have Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the one of them of the Brackish CD was released. The Brackish single was released in Japan, and they had we recorded a second song on there that like collectors. That's like, oh my, like another song that is not available anywhere else.
Right.
Only people love that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I had we had an exchange student live with us back in high school, and she was from Australia. Remember Savage Garden?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had, so when they were like really big, they had gotten me a CD of that Savage Garden CD, like the big famous one. And there were songs on my version that weren't on like the Canadian album. I thought that was pretty cool. Just for that, because she was from Australia, so she got it sent from there. And there was like 2 or 3. There was 2 tracks, if I remember. I don't remember. Maybe it was just 1.
That's how much of a fan of Savage Garden.
Yeah, you're just like,
right. Yeah. Hey, I definitely rocked that CD out. I listened to it, and I was very proud that great. My version was different than everybody else's. But
look what I got.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm doing that actually with my patrons, because this album was almost entirely funded by my patrons. So what I decided to do was have them, excuse me, sir, you've been served, is to have a patron version. So they're the only ones who will have that version of the record. Nice. And I'm thinking about even getting it pressed for them, so that they have like, hey, it's kind of, I mean, I would like that if I were supporting somebody. My name is in it, and I supported this artist, and they made something out of something that I've contributed. And it's just cool. It's just cool if you're one of those completionists that likes to have all that stuff. It's a cool thing to have.
Yeah, right, for sure.
You mentioned earlier that you're into acting as well.
Yes.
Have you what kind of acting?
So at the moment, I'm doing mostly commercials. The first commercial I did was for Lone Star Texas Grill, and I played the girlfriend, where we're just sitting there like, eating or whatever. So at first, it's just been commercials. I did my first movie in December for the Lifetime Network, and it's great. I'm super excited to be able to do that. And I did a Nintendo commercial, which I think is like the bigger one. Where I play like a zany kind of ghost hunter person. And that was for Luigi's Mansion 3 for the for the Switch. So that was cool. So yeah, it's a mix between commercials, movies, TV.
Sweet. That is pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. That's cool.
Tell her about that time where you entered your son into
Oh my god, that didn't go anywhere. So
it's fun. It's fun to
so
listen
stupid. There's this movie that was filmed in Saskatchewan years ago called Wolf Cop. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the cop's a werewolf, right?
So dumb.
So anyways, it's it was cool because it was filmed in Saskatchewan. So I have a copy of it and I was a fan. And then they were doing like some fundraising to film a sequel to it. And in doing so, like I had just had my son was born and everything, and I was all hyped up Wolf Cop fan. So I was submitting pictures of my newly born baby, trying to get him in the movie. And they were like, oh yeah, he's handsome, but like it just didn't go anywhere. It was just me creeping out.
Yeah, like
pimp out my little, yeah, exactly, right? Pimp out my son. Oh frick. Yeah.
This kid is gonna cost me money. I better make some money.
Yeah. Hey, some kids, it amazes me the kind of bank they can make. You guys know Handmaid's Tale? The show?
No.
Handmaid's Tale?
No.
Okay, so
it rings a bell, but
anyway, it's a show, kind of post-apocalyptic, everyone's dying and da 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 da, yada yada yada. Anyway, so I did like background work on that. So this is like when I first started. It was just kind of like one of the crowd kind of deal.
Right.
And they had in the scene they had a series of babies, like young babies. And it's funny because I'm just thinking like every single one of those babies are, just by existing, are earning way more than me.
Jeez.
Misbehaving. Yeah. A lot of them were just like not having it because,
right.
In the scene they had to be held and whatever, and they were like being held by a weird woman, and yeah, it's very unpredictable. But they make a lot of money doing.
Right.
You should have thrown a fit. Maybe you could have made money.
Right. I mean, I told my parents when I was, even before the whole band stuff, I wanted to be an actress, and they're like,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, they're like, good luck with that. Right?
And he was like, maybe like, no, you don't want to do acting, trust me.
And now you do anyway.
I do it anyway. Yeah, he's my father is really like finding it funny because like, I mean, he hasn't acted since the early 90s, but I remember when he was away for a while doing movies and doing things, and now tables have turned.
Right. What kind of stuff would he be in?
He did a couple of movies. The first one that he did in Toronto when we first moved to Canada. When was that? 90. Well, he would have moved in 88, and he did one where he played like he played like an Indian prince. They're like, foreign, brown, Indian prince. And then my dad's like, all right, whatever. Sure. And so yeah, that I don't remember what that one's called, but he did do one where he was the lead in the movie, and and I remember like my friends used to tease me because they would like look at the VHS. We had the VHS at home. They're like, look, it's your dad kissing someone. I was like, oh no. I just felt so weird about it. But anyway, yeah, I can't for the life of me remember that it is. But anyway, his name is Wayne Bowman. You can look him up on IMDb.
Look him up. Nice. Cool. That's freaking cool. I was going to say.
So where'd you move from?
South Africa.
South Africa. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I was going to talk.
I don't know how to speak Afrikaans. Don't even ask.
No, I was going to talk about pimping out my kid again, because now we're looking at starting.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's all that thing. Okay.
As one does.
But no, like the video game thing is like seems to be what's hot, right? I mean, he'll be 6 years old right now, and he's shockingly good at video games for a 6-year-old.
Sure.
So and he watches people playing video games online and stuff, and I'm just waiting to buy a PS5, and I'm gonna get him on Twitch at 6 years old. I don't care.
Yeah,
Frick, he
hell
wants to
yeah.
do
You're
it
gonna
anyway.
be the stage
Yeah.
dad.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna be that father that forces his child labor.
But I don't want to play this game, Dad. Shut
Do
it.
it.
Yeah, just do it. Make dad some money.
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't funny because a lot of the I watch so many horror stories of like, you know,
Right.
YouTubers, YouTube families, and they're like forcing their kids to do that. So,
Right.
I mean,
For
I'm
the
not saying
record,
that you would do it, but you know.
yeah, exactly. For the people listening out there, like I say that all lovingly and jokingly, but not really. Like if he wants to play, he can play.
Right. But
I'm not
if he wants,
expecting.
if
But
he
if he
wants
wants
to,
chooses
to.
and wants to.
Yeah.
That's right.
He could
I'll
do
back him up.
voiceover work.
We've talked about it already.
You
Because
always need kids,
oh, for
kids.
sure, man.
kids' voices, because you know,
Yeah, that's funny you
most of the
say
time
that.
they're done by women, like that can do that high voice, like,
Yep.
like
Yep.
really.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that was.
That was so good.
That was why I'm trying to come up with more animation voices because I would love to get into animation. And a year back or so, I had to do a zany kind of. I love doing that stuff because I'm like a theater kid. I love that stuff where I get to be crazy and like, like
Yeah.
the crazy witch. And I had to do a voiceover where I had to play the crazy witch. I made it to like almost the end of it and then ended up going with somebody else. But I came up with this like whole because
Like a backstory.
the whole backstory of how she became evil, and oh yeah, love it.
That's freaking cool. Let's hear it. What's the backstory?
So the backstory was she enslaved a bunch of children. Okay, you won't know what show this is for. It doesn't matter. She enslaved a bunch of children to make for like garments for her. So she's a terrible person basically, and because the premise kind of had something to do with that, and the reason. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She was evil. She was a child slaver and was always looking for more kids to work in her factories. Was basically all I can say. But
right.
yeah. And
that's cool. Is that out?
I don't know, actually. Well, that would have been about a year before the whole COVID thing.
Right.
hit.
You can tell us off air though, right?
I don't know if I can actually.
Fair enough.
Some of them make you sign like
non-disclosure.
yeah, like you can't say anything, and I still am like bound by it until I die.
Right.
I don't have to check that, but it doesn't matter. That's kind of my backstory to who she is in the show. But at any rate, it was like this whole thing, and they're like dressed up, and it was it was madness.
That is so
cool. I
cool.
love that stuff.
Yeah.
How cool would that be, being an actress in like a movie and then getting to do some of the soundtrack for that movie? That'd be freaking cool.
Yeah,
Hey?
Like Christina Aguilera would do.
Will Smith seems to do that lots too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of anybody like maybe Cher has done that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mermaids, maybe.
But how many movies is Cher really in though?
Good question.
I don't remember.
You know, like Will Smith's in a lot of movies, and he did music for Wild Wild West and Men in Black. Is there any other ones? Or maybe just those two? I'm not too sure. Like Dolly Parton would have done it, but how many movies is she in too? Right? 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Yeah, you bet.
Love that movie. Trying to think. I mean, I think it is actually easier in some ways for musicians to transition and go back, like in kind of cycle between the two disciplines versus actors that try and do the same. And I can't really recall any, I mean, aside from Jared Leto, maybe.
Right.
Jeremy Renner.
He's in a band?
Oh my God.
No.
What's the name of that song or that album? He's definitely got an album out.
Yeah.
And you would have heard the like the big hit off of that album for sure.
Yeah.
Mark will look it up here right away.
Is he the lead person or just in the band?
He's well, I don't know if it's even a band.
I think he is the band.
Yeah, I think he is the band.
Just him?
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. It's great. It's because that's something that I was also talking about on stream about Keanu Reeves. He had a band, or he still maybe
Right.
still does. I don't know.
I think he still does play. Is it guitar or bass?
He plays bass in the band,
Right.
and he was like in the shadow, like you didn't even know he was in the band. But I just loved how he wanted to be as kind of in the background as possible, but he's like this mega star.
Right.
Just in case, you know. But anyway, I was saying earlier, I'm really excited to hear what people, when everybody goes to go check out my record, go do that. I'm excited to hear what everybody thinks in terms of the way that I've, I guess, gotten all of these interesting influences together and synthesized them literally in some cases. Just because, you know, listening to my patrons have already heard all the record multiple times, and how everybody kind of identifies with a different song, and there's like a piece of their life that they're like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this, and so it speaks to me. Whereas for somebody else, that's not the case at all. I just think it's interesting, and I'm hoping that I can hear everyone's kind of thoughts either way. If they don't like it, whatever. But yeah, that's why I find the Studio 54 thing so interesting, because I've never heard that before. But for other people, someone told me Truth Bomb really spoke to them. They're like, man, I can listen to that song over and over and over again. It just has something in it that brings me somewhere. I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's exactly it. Like, if I was to break it down, like, each song brought me to a different place. It definitely did, which is what intrigues me about this album so much, right?
Cool.
Like, it's not like when I put on a Metallica CD and I'm like rocking out for the next hour or whatever.
Sure.
Right? Where like a Metallica CD will bring me to a place and I'm kind of there for the whole album.
Sure.
Whereas this, it was like individualized track by track. It was like I was in a different spot. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense.
But you also don't sit down with the Metallica record and listen to it song by song.
I totally have. Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, definitely.
The last time I've done that, where you're probably like a Deftones record, probably sit down and listen to every single song. But I can't recall other records that has done that to me, where it's taken me in different places. That was very deliberate. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked up on that. That was very deliberate, kind of, because the whole concept was as if you're in a kind of rundown city where you're going into different clubs, for example. So you hear Gridlocked in one, you go to another dingy kind of graffiti door, gross, disgusting, people are puking everywhere. That's electropunk.
Right.
Then you go into like your jazz club or whatever, you hear Truth Bomb. Or maybe you're walking around, I don't know, and there's a girl singing with a guitar, you would hear that. Like, I wanted to evoke that dirty, gritty.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I picked up on it. Like I could sense what you were attempting to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like I could listen to it a few more times easily listen to this again.
Yes.
I'm going to listen to it again for sure. Cause like I said, the first few tracks, I don't know, it didn't hit
and
me.
you were,
maybe I'll have to,
in your defense too, you were working while you're listening to it, right?
right.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too, because that has happened to me too, where I'm not giving it its full, like, the attention.
Your attention.
It's just there.
Yep.
Then there'll be one that I'm like, oh, okay. Ooh, let's rewind that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And and that point, I think, is different with everyone that listens to it.
Yep.
Which is great, because other feedback I got was the same. They're like, the first 3 songs spoke to me, the others didn't. Or the very last song spoke to me. I was like, okay. I can't.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Does it make? Do you get I'm assuming that you would get nervous when somebody's about to give you feedback on the album, just like any other artist getting feedback on their art.
I mean,
So I won't really, I don't expect like to get into that topic at all, but because I get it, I know the answer to the question, I guess already, but
You might be surprised.
well, so okay, so that's the question. Like, do you get nervous when somebody's about to give you feedback on your art?
yes. I've talked about this. I don't know, you weren't at the last stream that I did, but I was talking about I had a band, kind of short-lived band in between the last Amphibious Assault record and I did a kind of more rocky, straight up rock and roll record under my own name. So kind of between those two releases, I had a band called Fallon and the Grace Dynasty, and we did rocky kind of electro-y stuff. And I brought a friend of mine to our band practice because she happened to be visiting me from overseas, and she was here. And anyway, so she's I can't say where she's from because that'll give it away, but because she's listening. But she knows how I felt about what she said. But anyways, I asked her, so how did it sound? Did we sound okay? She's just like, not really. It's not really my thing. I was like, holy shit, okay. You no holds bar here. She was like, well, if I were you, I would have changed this and done something a little different, then it would have been kind of more to my taste. I'm like, I don't know if that's the question I asked you, but so yeah, I mean, it is always really, I think, especially if it's people that are close to you,
Right.
I don't even want to know what they think. Most of the time they'll tell me that they like it, or good job, or you're whatever. And even then I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if you hate it, because that's just because you pour your life and
it's a reflection of self, right?
Yeah,
So,
and then it's basically somebody rejecting something that but I always have to remind myself, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And that's okay. Like it's fine. They don't like it, fine. You're not going to please you cannot please everybody. Oh my God, right. If the internet is any indication of that.
Go to the YouTube comments.
Go to the YouTube. This sucks. Oh my God.
And then it's those freaking teenagers again, man, on those YouTube
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they're going to tell you if they think it's crap, and okay.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't listen to it, even. They just go to the
there's
comments.
There's always somebody who's got to click the thumbs down on the video because it said 0 there. So no, I'm going to be the first one to click the thumbs down.
Yeah,
like
first.
On a cat video.
That's all that is. Yeah.
Like,
you can have like
a cat video and was just like, I hate this cat. Like,
right?
No, there's no way.
Exactly, right? It'll have like 100,000 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down just because that one douchebag had to be like,
is a dog person.
Yeah, dog person. Yeah. Or I mean, I think it's just also the desire to be contrary. That's also, I found it just pervasive on the internet, just to be, just, oh, I don't like it because of this, or
but that's always on the like the negative direction though, right? Like, why isn't there that but more positive, right? So like if you put a negative video up, why aren't people liking it just to be contrary of all the hatred? Do you know what I'm saying?
I had that mentality as a teenager for sure. Like anything that people hated, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Or at the time everybody was, okay, well, everyone's hating on him now, especially for good reason. But at the time, in the late 90s, I was super into Marilyn Manson because everyone was hating on Manson, like, oh my God, he's a Satan worshiper, and I'm like, he's awesome. Like,
yeah.
It's the same.
No, I totally.
It's the same sort of thing.
It is. I get that. Yeah, I think so too. And okay, so let me ask you this on that, seeing as you mentioned Marilyn Manson. My question would be about like not cancel culture, but like should we not be listening to Marilyn Manson now because of his actions as a person? Whereas that doesn't reflect the art that he has made. And there's so many artists out there that we're still listening to.
Like Eric Clapton.
Or Michael Jackson or R. Kelly. Do you know what I mean? Like nobody's banning their music.
I have had this debate with other people on my streams. I just put it out there, especially because I commented on it at the time. Phil Anselmo from Pantera went on this, like, not on a racist rant, but oh no, it was a racist rant. He was using a lot of like racist language.
Right.
So I had commented on like not a good look or something like that. It was I had posted it on as an article or something like that. So and then somebody had commented underneath like, what, you're not going to listen to Pantera anymore because he said this or did this, and then I'm like, it made me think, can we separate the artist from the person? And how many instances has this happened? But I think in his case specifically, Manson's case, this is, I mean, that as far as I understand, that was like the most open secret ever, that he's not a good person at all. That, you know, and it becomes conflicting for sure. I loved his music when I was very, very young, loved it. And then now all of this stuff is coming out, but like, he talked about some pretty disgusting things in his autobiography in 98 about him having,
I remember, I used to have that book.
Like, I was a kid though, I didn't realize what all of that meant.
Yeah.
But now that I read it now, I'm like, oh my God, like the signs were always there, people. Like, I mean, So anyways, going back to the separating for personally, for me, it's hard. I believe all women when they say that sort of thing happened to them. I believe it without question. So, I mean, truthfully, I haven't listened to his music since 2000.
Right.
So I don't, I nothing it anyways, but it is hard, because if somebody makes something that spoke to you at some point in your life, for whatever reason it may be, and then you realize that as a person, they're really freaking terrible, or they're a murderer, or they're a cannibal, or whatever, that's deeply conflicting, because then that piece of art doesn't have the same sort of, I mean, it's almost tarnished.
Yeah.
And that solace that you may have felt in the lyrics or in the music or however it made you feel is blackened forever. That's, for me personally, it's very hard.
I think I can separate it. I still put on Clapton.
I definitely, I can totally, and here's another thing. So I think what makes it easy for me to separate it too is that I have no affiliation to him outside of listening to his albums.
Right.
Like, I don't know the guy.
You don't
Do you know
care
what I mean?
about like him as a person.
As the person. Well, it's not that I don't care. It's just that it doesn't, I'm so distanced from him that it doesn't affect me at all.
It would be different if it was a friend of yours that made that music.
Yeah, like if it was Mark that was having accusations, right? And then Funky Moose Records was jeopardized as a point, then okay, then, you know, there's an issue. And yeah, exactly.
But if you think about it though, that if it was say, you know, you're somebody that's close to you, like a female that was close to you, that this happened to you, then it becomes different. Then it's close to you. Then it's like,
yeah, I'm like burning all the albums.
You know, that's different. And I understand what you're saying. It's you know, it gets too close to home. And that can be easy for some people to do, is just separate. It's like, I don't know that person, I don't care. But then again, some people have made the argument that if you're buying his records, you're also supporting his lifestyle, where, you know, he, you know, drugs people and does whatever. I'm not saying that he did that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're fueling the lifestyle that caused people to be harmed.
True. So, and I understand that. Yeah, I totally get that. But like you said too, like when I was in high school, like I had all the albums, listening to it. So that's like a stamp in my time, in my world. Right? So like if Beautiful People comes on my playlist, the odds of me stopping it because of recent events I don't know. They might
slim.
be a little slim,
Mm.
because that's a fucking awesome song. And, you know, it brings me back to 20, 30 years ago, right? When it came out, and the time like the shit I was going through at that time when that came out.
Is it maybe different when the lyrics and the music are very much reflective of the kind of person that they are? And I'll give you an example, like somebody like Gigi Allen, or, you know, these kind of very shocking, deliberately provocative performers who their personality, the real person that they are, is their music. It's the same thing. It's you know, it's inextricable almost. Or, I mean, you could argue that Marilyn Manson's like that too, but I think a lot of what he was doing was also not new. It wasn't anything that like Alice Cooper hadn't done before, or any number of people that have a persona of.
Right. Well, that's even in the name, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
like Marilyn Manson,
like this
an alter ego
thing.
Yeah. It's interesting, is what
it's interesting. I mean, it's one of those arguments that I think, you know, can really divide people, of course. And I get it, because I mean, I still listen to Pantera, but you know, that's still always in the back of my mind. It's not that I'm ever erasing that so and so is like this.
Yeah, and I
it's
think
always
like
in the back of my mind.
Right, for sure. For me personally, bottom line is I'm not one to judge somebody on the music that they listen to. Like, bottom line, right there, I have bigger fish to fry in my life than what kind of music. If you're listening to Marilyn Manson or not, like, I could give two shits, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you like it, great, listen to it.
I find that maybe just the elder, maybe I shouldn't use that word. Our generation is less likely to be as bothered by something like that than maybe
those damn teenagers.
The teenagers are just like
snowflakes,
you know, just so much. They're just so much more in tune, I think. You know, I don't think as a teenager I was nearly as in tune with that kind of thing. And you know, maybe I should have been, because some of the people we toured with were not good people. You know, or we encountered were not good people. They were, you know, whatever. Anyway, save that for the book.
There you go. So, okay, I think we're gonna cut this one.
I have to go to another meeting, actually.
Oh, there you go.
We really appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
And we're gonna rock out the album again, definitely. I do want to stay in touch with you.
Do a jig.
Sure. Yeah, do the jig.
Do a jig. I think I want to get a couple of these. Those damn kids again. I'm gonna want to get a couple albums off of you for sure.
Awesome.
So we will be in touch, but can you just give another direction to where people can find you and your music?
Yes. So the number one place you can find my music is on my Bandcamp, which is Amphibious Assault, all one word, .bandcamp.com. That's where you can buy the album digitally. The physical copies of those will be available later on in the spring, and all of my previous releases you can also buy digitally, or comes from me, the CDs, if you're interested in that as well. Or you can find that on Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, iTunes, etc., on all the major streaming platforms, all three of my releases.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Right on.
Thanks for hanging out.
See you guys next week.
Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.